The podcast has
Oi,
begun.
oi, oi.
Hello.
We're on.
We're on.
Jesus.
Mike and Vittorio's Guide to Parenting.
Yeah.
Any crack?
No, I'm just trying to keep in my head now to stay away from you.
Yes, we decided the framing of we've adapted our seating positions.
Yeah.
It just felt a bit.
Well, you
like
said it looked gay.
That is what I said.
Because I was getting too close to you.
privately.
Yeah, but now I've outed you.
as a homophobe.
We need content, so we have to air all our dirty laundry on here.
To
That's
be
the
fair,
truth.
the Guardian also seem to think I'm a homophobe these days.
Oh yeah, what did they say about you?
So
They had a go at you, a nasty dig.
I don't want to spoil the show, but I mean,
Right.
the Guardian kind of already did spoil the show.
Did they give away the spoiler that you cried?
No, they didn't do that. They said that it was exciting that I was using the play to structure the show, but they said it was less exciting that I apologized for theatre being gay.
They weren't excited by that.
Well, first of all, I didn't apologize. I just said theatre's gay.
Yeah.
In the show, as a joke.
Yeah.
Like you do in comedy shows. But Brian Logan is famously.
Is he the critic?
Yeah, he's the one that
He's
people.
the cat's pajamas.
No,
No.
he's the one that everybody goes like. He's the reason people say the Guardian don't like funny stand-up shows.
He's a thunder cunt, is he?
Seems to be
Yeah.
somewhat of a thunder cunt.
And he was painting you a bigot, was he?
Just the way. The problem with him is he doesn't think he can say things you don't mean.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, plays are gay, aren't they? And he's like, well, that young man must mean that, and he must be a terrible homophobe, and it's very bad.
But I thought you'd get away with it because you're so clearly like might be gay yourself. So I thought that the audience would just be like, well, obviously he can say it.
Like that fish. There's a type of fish that pretends to be gay.
The blowfish.
No.
Oh, I would have thought.
Do you think that's why it's called the blowfish?
Yeah. This is a cock in its mouth half the time. Just oh, it's a blowfish, is it? I'd say it's a lot of the other fish's favourite fish. We should invite a lot of blowfishes to this party.
Only on your birthday, though.
Yeah, absolutely. A party without blowfish, I wouldn't even turn up if I was like if I was a squid or a seahorse. Is there any blowfish coming?
But
No.
the seahorses are trans, though.
Are they?
Seahorses can change gender.
Because they can be a sea or a horse. No, is it? No, I didn't think that through. I meant a fish or a horse. They can't be a sea. A seahorse couldn't turn into like the Irish Sea.
No.
I don't think.
No.
I hope not.
Unless they dissolved the seahorse.
But I'd say if you get up to blowfish, if you got them to a party and gave them some coke, they'd be just going around fucking.
They wouldn't know what to do.
They'd be blowed. They just, whoa.
No, I know what a
Sucking off
blowfish.
whales.
No, but I think a blowfish would get their line of coke and go, and
Will blow it away.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
you need a suckfish.
A suckfish.
Or
Well, this is getting down into actually just a problem with the term blowjob because
well, this is the
because
thing, isn't
it should be called a suck job.
And I think that's what women are talking about when they say it's hard to be a woman.
What?
They've been told for years that it's a blowjob, and it's very confusing for their minds.
Yeah, for their small minds. It's been a tough one, and you can see a lot of them even on the streets are grappling with the idea, and they still haven't.
That's what happened with Emmeline Pankhurst,
Who's she now?
the one who jumped in front of the horse.
To kill herself.
She was so embarrassed. Have you not heard about this?
No, lad.
The suffragettes. Do you know the suffragettes?
They were women that suffered.
Yeah.
They did, though.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah,
Women?
They did.
I think they suffered.
Well, they tried to
historically.
get the vote.
Yeah.
Because they want to be involved in the elections and stuff, and as part of their big these votes for women, they had these like placards, but they thought we need to do something serious to make a point. So Emmeline Pankhurst jumped in front of a horse at a race course,
And she fucked up the race.
And died.
Well, forget that. There's probably a lot of lads had a lot of money
on that.
money riding on that. And you see this out who are jumping in front. Oh, you must be joking me. For what? Feminism? What is that? No.
You wouldn't even have heard of it.
Oh, for fuck. Get her off the course. Run it again. Clean her up. Fuck. Is she still alive a little bit?
Yeah, Paddy Power better have paid out on that horse wedding.
They fucking better have. Speaking of suicide by horse, Which is an odd way to like, you know.
Yes, it's a bold segue.
Yeah, but you know what that is? To me, that's a very sulky way to kill yourself. You're like, I'm going to kill myself and ruin a lot of the lads' good time.
I think that with the train, the ones who jump in front of the train.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a few people on the train or whatever. But I always think it's brutal on the driver.
Ah, yeah. Because you know well, his life is not fucking a bunch of roses as is, driving that rotten train underground. Lack of sunlight gets to your head, lad.
Because there's been a big discussion about because they've been on strike quite a lot. And all the right-wing people going, they get paid more than nurses. As if that's a good argument for paying train drivers less rather than paying nurses more.
Yeah, but like, I think that like they should be getting paid quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's
a nasty, monotonous job. None of us want to do it.
Yeah, horrific.
They're bringing us around everywhere, every day. Give them proper wages.
Marylebone.
Yeah.
Piccadilly Circus. Leicester Square.
Oxford Circus.
All the circuses.
Every circus. Magners. Circus.
What's that?
It's a circus. You just if you listen to the words, you pick up on the meanings. Well, it was one of the ones that would come around to different like places in Ireland back in the day.
I never went to them. I don't trust people who
like a circus.
Well, somewhat. I just don't trust people. I don't trust a Ferris wheel to come out of the back of a lorry.
Yeah,
I think that should be more of a permanent fixture.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, lad.
Like the structural integrity of all of those things is, I just think is questionable.
But see, that was the crack of it though, because the thing is, they can't build up like a big mad roller coaster like they can in like Six Flags in America, where it's like, oh, this is the coolest roller coaster in the world. But what they can do is build a roller coaster so shittily that you will get the same amount of adrenaline because you might actually die.
Wow.
Yes. So
on some level, worse roller coasters are better.
Absolutely. 100%. Because that's what they're giving you. You are actually paying for, okay, yeah, this doesn't look great, but believe me, you might actually
Well, this
die.
is the thing. So if you sit down on a roller coaster...
So if you're one, Penkhurst, if she wanted to die in a way that was cooler, she would have just taken the Crazy Mouse in Kilkenny during the summer. What I did growing up. Go straight off the side. It'd be like, that's actually quite sick. Feminism's cool now. And you haven't ruined a horse race and lost my uncle a lot of money. You bitch. But you know what I mean?
No, I do. Well, it's the thing of like, if you sit down on a roller coaster, you've got two options. You sit down at Six Flags and you look and see where it's going to go and you go, fuck, that's going to be scary.
That's right.
Or you sit down at one of these... can you say itinerant circuses?
I mean, you've said it, so I guess you can. Physically, it is something you can say because you've said it. But I know what you mean. You've got a lad down there who's got, he's got a longing for his cousin.
But you just sit down and then there's just like duct tape holding a bit of what you're in together.
Yeah.
And it could be the most tame little... like ride, but just looking at that duct tape, you go fuck.
That's right. And there's a lad trying to sell you bangers whilst taking your money for the things. Like, would you also like a pill of ecstasy?
Oh, bangers is in ecstasy.
Yeah.
I thought you meant
one of those yokes.
You know the little.
I know those.
I don't really know how they work.
I saw some little lad, a little Asian fella on the street in the middle of London the other day, and he was just fucking leveling bangers at people's feet, like, and people were like, "What the fuck?" And.
Do you think they thought he was magic?
Huh?
Do you think they thought he was magic?
Well, I think the fact that he was Asian would have probably led them to some conclusion that
mystical powers,
that he might be a figment of their
from the Orient. The Orient's a funny word because I don't know if you're allowed to say it. It's not right. You're not supposed to say the Orient. But then the school in London, the School of Oriental and African Studies.
Yeah,
that's like a super woke school.
Have you been?
No.
Right.
But the people who go there, they've got like nose rings in there and hairy armpits and stuff.
Have you ever had a ring in your nose?
No.
You would though?
No.
No.
No, that's one of the ones I think just...
Because you're a cool boy piercing head.
Cool boy piercing.
Yeah.
Is that what you call them on the farm?
That's what I call you on the farm. Oh, he's a cool boy piercing head. In brackets, cunt. But that'll be on the farm. But I'm in London, I actually think it is cool.
Well, I used to have this one, my Helix,
yeah.
And then I've got this one now.
Yeah.
This one is so sore and never stops being sore in my experience.
And is that all she wrote for you? Or are you going to like... Because I feel like... What about maybe like some kind of a bar on your chin, or like right across your eyebrows, or like a big ring here, like a bull.
I think this whole podcast is you trying to sabotage my career by giving me horrific advice.
No. I'm going to be the making you. I'm thinking outside the box. You're white.
You need a brand.
Yeah, because you're an indecipherable, white, another brick in the wall.
You're blurry.
Yeah, there's a dullness. And then, but if I was to decorate you like a little Northern Ireland Christmas tree with all sorts of things, a little teardrop maybe, you know what I mean? And like, oh, is this guy in prison? We don't know. But he does seem to say some stuff that's vaguely racist, so there is a badness there.
There is a badness there. And I'm sorry.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to tell you this story now. Because this is on the topic of that your one killing herself with the horse.
Right, yes.
Suicide by horse. So I was out one night in Dublin, and it was like late at night. This is about 12:30 at night.
Okay.
And I was going actually to go see a girl that night, right? And a lady I was going to try to just lie on top of her, and I'm not even going to go into it. But you don't need to know. I don't want to sully your mind. I've done enough. But so I was out on the roads, right? And I was walking down the street, and in front of me were like two drug addicts, right? And I knew that just because. They were like, yeah, you fucking are, you and the jaws were going, and they're like, yeah, fucking. And I saw them come up, I was like, Jesus, but they had a little bulldog, right, on a leash. And anyway, whatever happened, I don't know what, and I thought of a bit of crack come into their head, and they were like, oh, you fucking. They let go of the leash of the bulldog. The bulldog gets freedom, and it seemed like this is the first time they had freedom in a while.
Yeah.
And it just legs it, right? And there was a Dublin bus coming down the street, and the bulldog just ran right in front of the bus, smack, slaps the bulldog about 30 metres up ahead, and then the guy's like, me fucking dog, no, me dog. But I am 100% convinced the bulldog committed suicide. Like,
votes for dogs.
Yeah. But it might have been to do with some sort of
kind
movement.
Of political action.
It definitely could have been, but I was looking for that kind of thing to get in government, but I don't know. But I felt he got like just this window of freedom from.
And the dog was dead?
The two drug addicts. Oh, the dog's dead duck. And the guy's like, me fucking dog. And they're looking at the bus driver, like, yeah, he killed me, because they're like thinking they might get money out of it. The bus driver was like, whatever, drove off, right? But this happened, right? So slaps the yoke, dog dead. I was like, what the fuck? It was a mad thing to see. And then, I mean, sure, the junkies, they ended up just leaving, though. Do you know what I mean? They're just
they left the dog. They left the dog.
They left the dog. Yeah.
Surely you pick up the dog and have a dramatic walk through the rain with a dead dog.
These are not good loving people. They were on the way to shove some fucking crack up their holes, like. So up their arseholes, because they are into their cock, because
nostrils.
They probably don't have any. I thought you were saying I had a snot. I don't, do I?
No, you're all good.
You would tell me if I did.
Yeah, I would on the podcast. I would wait till the end of the podcast. I go, you've had it the whole time.
Oh, and then I'd be snotty Mike forever.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I would hate that tapping, because I think I do more than other people. I think that there is a bigger build up of snot in my nose than a regular man.
Is that from all the drugs?
I have done quite a few drugs, and I would like to think there isn't a cause and effect there, but maybe it is from that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But I have a very narrow nasal passageway, and I've done very few drugs.
Right. So maybe if you did more, that would help.
Open it up?
It could do. You just never know how it's going to affect you. But you never know till you try. So maybe I would say for you...
Because I've tried Vicks. Is that drugs?
I think it is technically drugs.
Vicks Vapor Rub?
But it's like... It's lame drugs. It's coward drugs.
Is it a gateway drug? What's Vicks?
It's a gateway to like doing like paracetamol. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's a gateway to doing like taking NyQuil. Huh?
I'm so many gateways away from hard drugs. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, you have to go through the whole pharmacy of fucking like just Calpol and Lemsip and all this shit. You're such a pussy. It's unbelievable.
Anyway,
the dog is dead, right? And out on the ground, the fucking dog.
Such a brutal opening to the story. I can't believe this is the opening to the story. It's such a arresting opening gambit.
Yeah, because it was like an ominous thing. So then I goes in, right, to see this girl, and And she had texted me. She's like, "Oh, the door will be left open, right?" So I go into the door. The door, and I was looking for her. I couldn't find her in the apartment. I walk into the bathroom. She had a black plastic bag over her head. Yeah, like that. She was like also trying to kill herself, but I don't think like seriously because she knew I was coming. But like
as like a cry for help.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, or it wasn't fancy dress.
No,
you know?
It wasn't Halloween night.
Yeah. It wasn't Halloween. If it was, I'd be like, that's good crack. So then I had to come in and like poke the holes in the thing and be like, but like to have seen the dog. It happened.
So
the dog.
You saw the dog kill itself,
The
and
dog
then you
kill
arrived
itself.
at this.
Yeah.
This potential romantic partner's.
I just thought I was getting a ride. I mean,
did I miss
think I might have
How
after.
did you know this woman?
Huh?
How did you know this woman? Just dating who?
Well, she was one of the drug addicts. She was one of
Right.
the- No, she wasn't. She wasn't. No. It had been a girl I had been. It had been a girl I'd been seeing. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
arrived, and she had a plastic bag over her head.
Black plastic bag over her head.
Zip, like tight around the.
Yeah. Now, as it would turn on, as I would get to know her better, she was like, yeah. She's like, I just kind of sometimes I pull these stunts. You know.
You hang about with an interesting crowd.
I have a thing where I. Well, I have it. I do have like I have a sweet tooth for people that
I love
are
a chop and a suicidal woman.
and a suicidal woman. I like a woman who wishes herself nothing but badness.
That's how you get them.
No, but I do think that there is something. I do feel a comfort around people that are mad because then I feel then they can't judge me for any of my madness. You know what I mean? So then I actually feel very at home with people that are kind of a little off the rails because of that.
I have a similar thought along the lines of just people allowing your madness to be free almost.
Yeah.
I think that on some level that when you drink booze, there's the inebriation that happens.
Yeah.
But there's also freedom in that you can just let out a bit of the madness within you because there's always just I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's a conscious thing. It's not that you're out of control. It's that there's just like a little loosening of the belt.
Yeah.
Of how weird you always want to be that.
Well, that's it. And there are people who are kind of like natural, like intoxicators, because their presence will actually allow you to be that. So they'll think it's cool that you piss on the carpet or whatever it might be. I don't piss on the carpet. They think
It's a very nice carpet,
they
actually.
think it's cool that you long for your relatives. No, I'm joking. But
you know what I mean? It doesn't come from the booze, and even if you've only had a couple drinks, if everyone around you is like more drunk to the point where they don't know that you'd have slightly fewer drinks than them.
Yeah.
You've just like, there's just freedom there where everyone goes, oh, it wasn't last night, mad.
Yeah. And then you can say we really think about the Jews.
Yeah. They are an upstanding people.
Well, they're
and they've been through a lot.
Yeah, they've been through a lot, and they're like percentage-wise, they're more talented and smarter than the rest of us.
Yeah. Probably
Although,
because they've been through so much.
That's right.
Only the smartest survived.
That's right. And now if we clip this and it's a positive, it's pro-Semitic, then that should also...
I'm pro-Semitic. That's my vibe now.
Me too.
I'm going to be the first pro-Semitic rapper.
Oh, like just have all
So I went
pro-Jewish
I was
rhymes.
unwell recently, and I went to I had to go to the hospital, and they looked after me brilliantly. It was a fantastic experience across the board. Felt really cared for, and the fella said, "Do you want to just sue for free? I think you're a good lad." And I walked out and I felt better. Do you know when you've been unwell and then you go into the hospital? But I felt better. You're still a little bit groggy on the way out. I felt better than I did when I thought was my peak. I had a new peak.
Yeah.
And I'm not supposed to say the community or the race of the doctor.
Yeah.
It was a Jewish doctor.
He was Jew. He wasn't Muslim. He wasn't Hindu. Hate them. He was a he was a Jewish man. This is pro-Semitic and anti everything else. Absolutely, lad. Yeah, you could have raps like, "Oh, my friend's name is Hugh. I only like him because he's a Jew." That kind of thing.
Hugh isn't a Jewish name.
But back onto the booze thing, the Boozy Susie thing.
Yes.
So I was on this date on on
Yes, because
Sunday.
we've, as a pretext of this, we've both been quite bad at dry January.
Oh, it's been a wet January. It's been like fucking Moses parting the Red Sea. Do you know what I mean? It's been a monsoon.
I think we both tried.
Yeah. Children have drowned. Animals have drowned. I'm barely head above water. I'm basically a fucking blowfish at this stage, just going through the water.
I'm completely soaked through.
I'm soaked through. Pneumonia.
But you were out with this boozy Susie.
Oh, it's a bit boozy. Well, do you know what it was? So I'm trying to be good, and I've gone on a couple of dates sober. And it's just a living fucking nightmare because you have to
be yourself.
You have to be yourself and talk to the person and feel the anxiety of being alive and trying to connect with another human being. And I would never ever recommend it to anyone. So anyway, we go on this one, and I was like, right, well, I'll have a few drinks. So we meet at this pub, but it's 5 o'clock. It's a Sunday, so I'm like, do you know what? We'll be taking it handy. Anyway, I get to the spot. She's already got me a Guinness, which was an assumption. Cause I'm Irish, but sure, wasn't it?
It does happen.
Wasn't it the best assumption she's ever made? I was like a little fucking sucky calf.
I mean, it does.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I was licking my lips. I was like, fucking, I was floating towards it. I was like, "You're a good girl." She'd already won me over. Which, to be honest, she'd already won me over by her Instagram. She looked good, but anyway,
and this is another one of these being at the show women.
That's right. I don't want to meet any of the rest of them. I don't want to know you if you've not been at the show. My therapist
self-esteem lives at the show.
Lives at the show. Me without comedy is a little like frail kind of fucking like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. I'm just eating raw fish and just being like. But then when you see me after the show, I'm like the Prince of Persia. Anyway, we won't go into the ethnicity part of that statement. We'll leave the ethnicity part alone.
Because you dress up Iranian when you're
I do brown face, and it hasn't been going well. The Guardian have also had some negative things to say about my act, and I probably won't work in this town again. So
I love the Gollum thing. If you meet a woman who hasn't seen me on stage, you're like,
I'm like taking little bits of raw fish out of my pocket. I'm like, would you like some comedy? Yes, do you like comedy? Have you seen? Please have a look at my Instagram and then come back to talk to me once you know I have some value, please. Yeah.
Nasty, filthy women.
Yes, nasty, filthy women. Oh my precious. Yeah, I'm just a squib. I'm a portable cum rag. I'm a cum rag that has become sentient and is just moving around in the world.
Wow.
But still wet from a fresh load. That's too graphic. But so I goes in. She have to get me a pint. I'm like, great. She's an East Londoner. She's lovely. We're chatting in the back, but she's drinking more than me. Like, she's drinking the Guinness faster, and then she's like, I'm drinking the Guinness faster than you. What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like drinking it. The second pint comes. She takes one drink of it, and I take one drink of it, and she's like, well, we chug them. Like, the Guinness is like the full pint. This is like,
that's somebody with nothing to say.
This is 5:30. No, she was yapping on, lad. She was a chatty Cathy, but she just has her foot to the floor towards like the devil. You know what I mean? Like, she just wants to dance with the devil, go to oblivion, shoot to the moon, like make it a circus. You know what I mean? Like the roller coaster that you might fall off and die on. That's what she is.
Her personified.
Absolutely.
She's a personified version of the roller coaster with duct tape on it.
That's right. So she was like,
and she did have duct tape on her.
There was not a scrap of duct tape on this bitch. Absolutely not. She was put together with blue tack, lad. You could just like pull one of her arms off like that. Just, you have it. So
Exterminator.
Yeah, she's just pieces of paper stuck together with blue tack. Yeah. So she says to me, so anyway, she goes, let's chug the thing. Now, the thing is, I used to, as a younger man, chugging was my comedy. Like, that's where I got all my self-esteem from. I was like, just...
You're very good at downing drinks.
Unbelievable. Like, I'm King-Chug-Mike.
King-Chug-Mike?
King-Chug-Mike, which sounds like the next North Korean leader. King-Chug-Mike. Yeah, but
communist dictator King-Chug-Mike.
That's right. But like, yes. I was like,
he's been doing nuclear tests off the coast of Japan.
King-Chug-Mike would be such a tyrant. Like,
Are NATO going to step in and sanction King-Chug-Mike?
NATO would appease King-Chug-Mike. Like, they would not.
End the blockade on King-Chug-Mike.
Oh fuck yeah! So so I used to get like a lot of my self-confidence from like chugging, and I was like the lead chugger in my group of friends. Like I was like top chug. So
I was quite good at strawpedoing, which is different to chugging.
but it's similar, right? It's
You've
like
done strawpedoing with the...
I feel like it's a poor weaker man's chug, no?
Yes, and it's mostly WKDs and Smirnoff Ices and VKs that you would strawpedo.
Yeah, never bring strawpedo and chug into the same conversation again.
They're similar. It's consuming liquid at a rapid pace.
You've embarrassed yourself. And your family and your friends and your community. Please don't say that again. Strawpedo with Wicked. And I'm talking about chugging Guinness. Please.
But Guinness is the easiest chug of all the chugs.
Oh, come on. It's thick. It's not the easiest chug of all the
It's
chugs.
easier than any lager.
It is probably an easier chug.
I hate chugging lager. It's
Yeah.
too fizzy and too cold.
But this is why you're not King-Chug-Mike. Like King-Chug-Mike would never say what you just said. King-Chug-Mike would just neck
Yeah,
it
he
and
would
then
just
go,
believe it, and he would push all the feelings and the
push it
vomit down.
Get it in, burp, and say, where's the next one?
And King-Chug-Mike's coming closer and closer and
all right.
closer as the
That's right.
podcast
That's right. We
goes
have to
on.
make this podcast less gay. This is what the feedback has been.
King-Chug-Mike.
King-Chug-Mike.
What's happening?
But anyway, so she's like, yeah. So she was necking. So anyway, so we necked the pint, and honestly, like glasses go down at the exact same time.
Okay,
And-
so you've met your match.
oh, absolutely.
Queen
This-
Chug
this is
Mike.
Queen Chug cunt. So no, she's a lovely girl. But
Queen Chug Dyke.
I didn't say dyke. I said cunt, lad. But you would feel like there is quite a few Queen Chug Dykes out there, possibly. Possibly. Are we
Good at
allowed to
chugging.
say? Are we allowed to say that?
Nope.
Well, it's too late. Look, I donate to charities. So
I donate to loads of charities.
I've never done it, but
You know, at Tesco, when it goes, would you like to round up your order 17 pence to make
Yeah.
kids happy?
really.
No.
Do you know, actually, speaking just on that very quickly, because McDonald's is a devil for it.
The
And they're
Ronald McDonald Foundation?
yeah, but McDonald's, I'm like, would you like to round up the thing? Blah, blah. So you have to be a cunt every time you order there and be like, not today, I'm not going to help any dying children today. So it just forces you to get your Happy Meal, but be the most rotten individual. And
But
then you're like, do you know who can't afford it to round up me? Do you know who can afford it? McDonald's.
Well,
you.
and do you know what it probably is? I bet they get tax breaks for doing that,
Right.
for having those little charity donations. I bet that counts as a charity donation from them,
Yeah.
because I can't write that off on tax,
Yeah.
but I bet they do.
Guess what? I'm not loving it. Do you know what I mean? Clip it. No, that was good. But this is horrendous.
That was so bad.
I know it was so bad.
I'm so angry.
Yeah, you should be. This is not right, and it's not what these people should. You know, you're listening to this, and it's not right. But you're warning myself. So we necked the things.
Yes, Queen Chug Bike.
Yeah, King-Chug-Mike. And bike is actually, as we know, is sometimes a term used
Slut.
for looser women. Yeah, well, that's anyway.
Welcome to Queen Chug Nike. Was she wearing Nike?
She wasn't that I could see.
Pike?
She could have had Nike socks. I don't know, but so anyway, we neck it, right. But then once we put the things down, do you know that rush of like if you've just necked a drink and now we have entered into crazy land like that, because you're just like kind of discombobulated and you're like and it's like the whole shift of reality changes and you're just in this kind of wild world. So like immediately, like we put down the things and now we're just being way too honest. She's like, I'm on antidepressants. I'm like, I get too anxious sometimes. She's like, I have no tits. I was like, my willy doesn't work, you know. So like we're just like just shouting our insecurities at each other.
But you know what it's like? So, it's to link it to roller coasters again. This is, I'm quite scared of heights and all these things. But see, roller coasters, it's okay because once you sit down, it's easy to sit down somewhere and put on a seatbelt.
Yeah.
That's not scary.
Right.
It's after that point that's like you're about to just be like, whoa. Because when you neck a drink, you're not drunk yet. You haven't had the effects of it yet, but you've done the damage. It's like when you take a shot, you're like, well, in 20 minutes I'll be
Yeah, but like the devil has said to
Different.
you, the devil has said, "Hey, do you want to come for a dance there?" And it's the devil, and you've said yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've put the coordinates of your night just to fucking, you know.
Yeah, you two are sitting at the bottom
Beirut,
of Nemesis Inferno.
Yeah.
And you're just like waiting for it to just go.
Right. But the act of it, the act of anarchy, of necking it, on a day, it's 5:30.
Yeah.
Where could this go?
Oh.
That you're just now, and I'm not shackled as it is. I'm not a private person
You're
or
a
a guarded
hinged
person.
person, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
unhinged, and I tell everyone everything. People will get to know so much more than they'd like to know. So then we're just shouting, like we're just saying all this shit to each other. Now it's like, "Whoa." So there's another pint comes in, we drink that quite quick. Then we're off to another pub. At this other pub, and she's like saying things to me like as well. She's just like, "You ain't never met a girl like me before." And I was like, "Oh, I probably haven't." You know what I mean? This is wild. You're the best. And you know,
I love you.
I love you and you love me, and that's all that matters in life.
Let's run away together.
Absolutely.
Let's
To
run
the
away
toilet.
and down pints in
Yeah.
Cuba.
In Cuba, absolutely, and probably some point have sex. We won't need to talk about that now, but yes. So we get to the next bar.
You're a fiend. Go on.
We get to the next bar, and so she just starts talking to this. There's this massive hench guy and this little Vietnamese guy beside him. It's quite. They look like the odd couple. Do you remember Twins, the movie with Danny DeVito and Arnold
yes,
Schwarzenegger?
yeah.
Kind of like that. If DeVito was Vietnamese. But so this
I
guy,
get a slight Vietnamese vibe off DeVito.
do you know
Danny
what?
DeVito.
He could have been in the Viet Cong. You could have seen him.
Danny DeVito Kong.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Just fucking covered in like leaves and stuff, hopping out of the jungle. He's on opium. It's a good time. Hates Nixon. It's fun. So anyway, she starts talking to them. So we start talking to the South African guy. Next thing, they're talking about apartheid. She's talking to him about apartheid. The guy says Mandela is overrated. I was like, I'm not talking about Ed Sheeran, lad.
He's not a fucking. He's not an English football player during the transfer window.
Yeah, he sounds like he's fucking.
No way, he's worth 35 mil.
You're not talking about Jack Grealish, lad. You're about Nelson Mandela. It's like, yeah, no, he only scored.
I preferred his earlier stuff.
Yeah,
when he was blowing stuff up.
like so. He's saying that about Mandela. Like, Jesus, he did tell us this.
And it was a South African fella who was saying
He
that.
was South African. So it was like
White
this.
South Africans do have a deep wrongness in them.
But sure, they were born into wrongness. They're
They
born
were, yeah.
into badness. They grew out of rotten soil, like, you know.
Like
there's-
Urukai.
Yes, they're kind of like they're like weeds that grew out of a rotten soil. But then they move to other countries and they're just a weed. And you're like, lad, why are you such a weed?
I've told the South African story on a podcast before, but it's very quick. One time I was in a pub watching Ireland versus South Africa in the rugby.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, when I first knew that white South Africans had a badness in them.
Yeah.
I mean, probably should have learned sooner, you know, like school and stuff.
Yeah.
But Ireland absolutely trounced South Africa in this match. And we were kind of celebrating, and there was a table of white South Africans, and they got really annoyed. They were like, "Shut up!" We weren't like celebrating at them; we were just celebrating, and they were like, "Shut up!" And I was like, "What?" And the woman said, "Well, your country has a terrible human rights record." And I was like,
Said to the South African boys.
"No, the South Africans said it to us."
Jeez, the pot on the kettle black there.
Pot calling the kettle.
Holy God.
Racist.
Right.
Yeah, very strange. Anyway, sorry, you were talking to the South African man.
So
the South African's the bulky fella.
So he's
There's
a bulky
little
fella.
Vietnamese fella.
So there's a little Vietnamese fella. Now, the little Vietnamese fella is his brother-in-law, and these boys are tanking booze, like they're really on it. The South African guy is one of those guys who's been to the gym too much and he's made a fuck of himself. Like, he looks stupid, and he's wearing a little small
looks
t-shirt.
wrong.
Yeah, and he's 45 years old, and you look stupid. He looks like a transformer, and it looks really dumb. Although the girl I was with was like ogling him a bit, like she was kind of like, and I was like, easy now, right? Stay away.
We're in this together.
Yes.
You're supposed to be my wife.
We love each other. We're in love.
You stop ogling that big,
Yeah.
beefy South African man.
That's right. But we're chatting to them, and anyway, he's talking about that. He did tell us this one story though, that they used to. He's like, we had a black maid, and he's like, she was part of the family, but she had like 8 kids, and then we had a pool, and my dad said to her, he's like, don't let don't let your kids around the pool. And she thought it was racial. She's like, oh, we kept you around the pool because we're black and you're white. And he's like, no. He's like, no, it's because they can't swim. And anyway, you know, which is funny. But they're kids, like, you know, this isn't a racial thing.
They can't swim because they haven't learned how to swim yet because they're children.
Yeah.
But I think you got to be more aware as a white South African where you're like, they can't swim.
Right.
You know, they can't swim.
Yeah.
You got to be like, they haven't learned how to swim yet.
That's right.
You can't be like, they can't. You gotta just extend that sentence slightly and be like, or just let them drown, let them learn their own lessons, I think.
Well, so
for the sake of racial equality, you should let the small black children drown.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. If I see a black person drowning, I go, I wouldn't want to assume that you can't swim.
Yeah.
I go,
yeah.
best of luck.
See you in the morgue. You're a
for the
nasty
sake
character.
of equality.
For the sake of equality. No, you're a star, mate. You're an absolute. You're the Padre Pio of our time.
Apparently, I'm related to him. Go on.
Pio.
Yeah.
Sick. I'm actually related to a saint as well, Edmund Ignatius. Well, he's not a saint, he's blessed. So he's in the beatification process, which is where you're kind of getting reviewed.
Right.
What did he do to kids? And then if you're given the clear, then you're made
if you've done enough to kids.
if you've got the stats to back it up.
Got the numbers.
If you've got the numbers.
Over a series of years, you can't be a one kid wonder.
Yeah, like say like Ronaldo has 5 Ballon d'Ors, Messi 7. Like you'd have to have like at least like 7 pedo years.
Yeah, you can't be like an Andre Arshavin of pedophilia.
That's right.
Real flash in the pan pedo.
That's right. You had one good fucking season and then you weren't able to catch him anymore.
You had a knee injury and you couldn't keep up.
And you try to get them with sweets and they're like, no, we already know you're a pedo.
But you already had a big transfer to Real Madrid. You're Michael Owen of pedophilia.
That's
you did great work in Liverpool when you were a young pedophile.
Got big transfer to the Vatican and then
did your knee.
You did your knee. Fucked.
Real Vaticano.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Oh God. So I was saying, so with
South African fella,
no, but he was saying, so he told that to their maid like that. So he was like, but he said, keep the kids away from the pool. She thought it was being racist. But anyway, one day he's gone to work and she let the young lad down to the pool and he came back from work, his father, and they couldn't find the kid. And they were like, where's Vincent? Blah, 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 blah. And they were like, she was like, I don't know. I've looked everywhere, blah, blah, blah. He's like, did you check the pool? And he's like, did you let him by the pool? And she was like, I didn't check the pool. They went down, kids, bottom of the pool. So they go in, literally down the bottom, like they go in, get him, try to resuscitate him, can't. But there's a doctor that lives next door. They bring him over to the doctor, and the doctor gets him back. Got the kid back, like living. And then, like obviously the father was like, I fucking told you so. What the fuck? Obviously he can't swim, don't let him by the pool. It wasn't racist, I'm cool, I'm sound. You stupid fuck.
He just got vindicated.
Yeah, well he did.
His racial bias.
That's right.
It's so funny, the thought of him being proven right and just letting all the slurs fly and just being like, I fucking told you fucking this and that and the other. Just fucking because he's got an excuse because he was right.
100%. And imagine how vindicated he would have been if he actually died. Then he could have really went down.
Oh my God. That's fucking...
I know.
And this is all... This date.
This is happening in the date, dude. We've met the pints of Guinness. This guy's saying this shit. We're like, whoa.
You attract darkness.
Absolutely, I do.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, I give it out there as well, you see.
Were you cursed by a witch?
No, I just am drawn to strange people in general, like odd people. I will sit beside someone on a bus for 3 hours and just listen to them tell me.
Well, I think you like to not be the maddest one. You like to not be the strangest chap on the bus.
That's right. And also, I find very few people actually, like I know I say I find crazy, but almost nothing people tell me shocks me. Even the craziest stuff, I can kind of see where it's coming from because I don't know what that is, but like I will listen to mad people talk for ages. And even as I say mad, I don't even see it that way, but I'll sit on a bus beside someone and just listen to them talk away. I don't know if that's a voyeurism thing or what, but in this instance, we were both in the conversation.
Do you find it reassuring?
I think I find it interesting. Like I am very, I mean, this isn't to sound like I'm some like noble person, but like my biggest interest in life is people, like psychology. Even if you look at my act, it's just all actually little act outs of things people do, behaviors, as opposed to broader macro observations about society or anything. So that's just actually what interests me. But so he was telling us this next thing, right? He tells us, this is no joke. We're talking to him. He caught his wife cheating on him the night before. The South African guy, and he's like, I've got kids, and he's like, and it's over. It's over. It's like 12 years down the drain. He's like, I love this woman.
He shouldn't say 12 years either.
Huh?
South Africans shouldn't say 12 years.
Because of the movie
Pick
12
a
Years a
different
Slave?
amount of time.
Are you
That's
talking about
bad.
because of the movie?
You just shouldn't say that. There's some things you can't say.
Right.
And that's okay. But his wife is cheating on him, as in, wait, the night before the kid nearly drowned or the night before you met him?
No, so the kid nearly drowned. This was back in his childhood when he was growing up.
Right.
And it was like, so just to make clear, the father wasn't biased, wasn't a racial thing. He's just like, babies can't swim. Or like
Yes,
kids. Kids that haven't learned to swim can't swim was more his point. But...
Which is fair.
Yeah, absolutely fair.
Inarguable.
So now we're chatting with him, and he's just like, it's all coming out because he's been drinking. And I'm telling you, he's just this big muscle bound. Like he could like tear the pub apart King Kong style with his hands. He's that big. Like he could just grab your head and like Michael Jordan size hands, like Shaq.
Yeah.
Like he's just huge, and he's just there. Bet into this t-shirt, and he's like, she cheated on me, like, and he's just this vulnerability, and he's
the
like,
night before, so he was out drinking, drowning his sorrows.
he found out the night before because his wife says to him, I just need some time away. They have 2 kids. One of the kids is 2 and one is 8. And the wife says to him, I need some time apart. Just like 3 nights in a hotel, like just to get my head or whatever. And anyway, that made him suspicious. And he was suspicious of a particular guy. So he managed to get into that guy's Instagram, because the guy's Instagram is private, and your man had pictures on his story of him, like the affair.
No.
Yes, dude. Yes. So he found that out the night before, and now he's out in this pub talking to me and fucking Lady Gaga over here. And
King-Chug-Mike
and King-Chug-Mike. You know what I mean? Literally fucking Oprah and Dr. Phil. And listening to this.
What a pair of people to seek counsel from.
Yeah. Fucking Queen-Chug-Mike and King-Chug-Mike. So
Tell you, when I need advice, where do I head?
Yeah.
Straight to King-Chug-Mike and Queen-Chug-Mike.
Yeah, 2 of the most off-kilter fucking unhinged loons in the city of London. So he's telling us this, and like, I'm being like flagrantly empathetic. I'm being like John Barenthal in the Shia LaBeouf. I'm just like, give voice to why. Give voice to why you feel that
way. You're doing
way.
the Tommy Tiernan face.
Yeah, absolutely. Just scrunching up, my eyes watering. But I was literally like, I was like, dude, it's okay. I'm sorry to hear that. And he was like, yeah, he's just like, you have to start again now. And that's hard. You have to find someone new and like dating at my age. I was like, lad, you're fucking buff. You're sexy as fuck. I didn't want to tell him I do feel he's overdone it physically, but this was not the time to tell him that. So I was like, lad, you would fucking, I'd suck you off myself. And then the girl I was with, like, she's like, same thing. She's like, you're right, you're so right. Like, you have never. And I was like, easy now.
Yeah,
Queen-Chug-Mike. Take it handy.
We have a fucking empire to build.
That's right. But exactly. But now we're in like a round with these guys. But also, the best thing about it is that the guy, the Vietnamese guy, it's his sister. It's his sister that's doing the cheating. I forgot
he said brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law. It's his sister.
Fuck off.
So then I was like to the Vietnamese fella, and he's in there like he's over behind the bushes, and I was like, that's your sister, lad. And he's just like, yeah. He's like, I know. He's like, and he goes, I know. He's like, she's a whore. It's great. He's on your man's side because they're buds. Like him and your man are like friends, and he called his sister a whore. I was like, this is sick. This is
wow.
This is a great day. He's like, she's a whore. He goes, I hate to see it. You know, she's a whore. And then like South African guy is like nodding like she is.
She is. And you did warn me.
Huh?
You did warn me.
You did warn me
that
the
Vietnamese fella.
You told me your sister was a whore. He's like, I did, day one. I told you that when I first met you. I said it in front of her. I was like, she's whore. She's my sister. I love her. Massive slut.
Yeah, you gotta watch it with her. Oh my goodness.
So this is going on, right? And then next thing anyway,
there's more.
Well, your one starts going like it's like now my.
Yes, of course, because you're on a date. This isn't just like over
That's
and like
it's
see you
never
later.
over. So then, King-Chug-Mike is like giving him like it's like come here. She's like, I'll give you a big hug, and he's like no, because he's kind of looking at me as in like I don't want to be like hugging your date, and I was like, no, go on, give her a hug. And so then anyway, she gives a hug, and then she's like, that's not a proper hug. And it's like, what do you want him to do? Like grab your arse? Like what is going on here? You know what I mean? This is all getting a bit too soft. So she gives him like this big hug, and women do like find it like a heartbroken man like that is an aphrodisiac to them. Like they do love
because he loves so much but has nowhere to go with it.
That's right. It's just like a big wounded lion.
Yeah.
So she's giving him this big hug, and then anyway. Then she goes off to the toilet at one stage, and he's just like, he says to me, he's like, oh man, he's like, you've got a wild animal on your hands there, mate. He's like, you've got a tamer, grab her by the tail. I was like, are you trying to tell me to hit her?
Stop giving me fucking relationship advice, you fucking cock.
Yeah. Your wife's in the hotel right now. Tell me to grab women by the tail. What does that mean? You know? But I mean, I did grow up in a farm, so the agricultural talk did, you know, get through to me.
Yeah.
But so anyway, the Vietnamese guy just stayed in the corner and she's a whore. You know, he's like boozing away. So then anyway, myself and your one, eventually we head on to the next part. And lad, we're so hammered at this stage. Like it's just wild to be on a date and be this just far out your mind.
Of sorts, yeah.
But there was a feeling now because of the thing of South African and just the neck, like there was a kind of mad adventure feeling to it, but it was getting to a stage of like we're just balubas, and then
balubas.
Yeah,
what's a baluba?
It's an old wooden ship, I believe.
Do you mean beluga, the whale? A beluga whale?
No, I think balubas, I don't know where I got it from, but I use it as an expression.
I think I know what you mean.
Talk about like being drunk, like being
just
like
balubas.
You're out of your mind. You're balubas.
Yeah, balubas.
You know, I might have something to do with Baloo from the Jungle Book, but
look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Don't worry
about your worries and your strife. Ain't no strife.
Absolutely. And this has become
that was a nice moment.
That was nice. I think that's going to be what breaks, like that it kicks this whole thing off.
Yeah.
But
great podcast and lovely singers.
Yeah. Beautiful voices. They're like young Christy Moore and Brian Kennedy. Do you remember Brian Kennedy?
Yeah.
So
big turtle head, Christy Moore on him. He looks like a turtle, Christy Moore.
Oh, Christy, yeah. He looks like Donatello, like. Absolutely. Yeah. And he gets very grumpy, Christy.
Go on, Johnny, give it to him.
Yeah. Absolutely. But if you talk at Christy Moore gig, or you're not allowed to drink at them anymore either.
I saw him at the festival hall in London, and you were allowed to drink. I'd say that was probably part of the deal. But I'd say you get some fairly rough deals from venues, like
well, it's not good to have him in unless he pays a massive rent.
But that must be
they're
what
not going to make any money because he won't let anyone fucking.
Or they must get a big split of the tickets or something.
Yeah, I'd say that is what has to happen. But he's like, you know, like he won't say, if someone like interrupts you, that I won't say another word till that person's getting out, and he just, you know, there's a conviction to him. I kind of respect it.
He is just a grumpy old man though at some point. I love him though. I was very delighted to see him. He was on my bucket list of people to see before he died.
I would love to see him live. Yeah, I'd like to see him live. And now there's a fella. There's some great Irish Christies. There's like Christy Moore. There's a guy called Christy Dignam who is the lead singer of a band called Aslan, who's just been diagnosed with terminal like cancer. But he's like, Aslan are like, they're a Dublin band that never got like huge, but they're like cult. But he's the most unbelievable singer, and he was just unbelievable live. But I would like to see him before he dies as well. And then there's of course Christy Brown,
I don't know if
My
I know
Left
Christy
Foot.
Brown.
Daniel Day-Lewis, writing with.
Do you think I've seen that film?
Well, you've seen the follow-up film, probably, In the Name of the Father. Have you
Nope.
seen? You've not seen In the Name of
Nope.
the Father.
I haven't seen There Will Be Blood either.
Yeah, but In the Name of the Father is about Jerry Conlon and Giuseppe Conlon from the Guildford Four.
Yeah, I know of them.
Do you
yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
What? And, like, you do have like, and I know you said you're a strange child, but it's like you have, it's impressive how little you've taken in.
It's like I arrived yesterday.
It is mad. You are. You're like Spock or something. You're like just someone who's just given an impression that they've been on the earth a while, but they haven't. And
I've learned some of the buzzwords.
That's right.
Over school.
Yeah, yeah. It does actually make a bit of sense, though. There is an otherworldliness to you.
But the person I wanted to see on my bucket list that I'm very sad recently, Randy Newman. Myself and the missus had tickets to go see Randy Newman. You know Randy Newman?
Yes.
Of Toy Story and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we were due to go see him in February coming up, and got an email last week saying that due to his ongoing recovery from his most recent surgery, the shows had to be cancelled. And I'm like, he's going to die before I see him. Because it wasn't, your tickets will be valid for the rescheduled date. It's like,
And I mean,
the words most recent surgery.
and I mean this in the best possible way. Would it be bad for him if you and herself were to go to the hospital and kind of,
In America?
well, if you really like, and just kind of coax us on and just be like, just sing one,
just do short people.
just do short
That's
people,
right.
do the one about the midgets,
Do
please.
do the one about and I will go sailing no more.
What's
from
that
Toy
one
Story
from?
2? Do you know Toy Story 2?
I do,
These are my
yeah.
cultural references now.
Yeah, no, they are
When
very
Buzz
childish.
Lightyear goes to try and fly because
Yeah.
he thinks he can fly, but he obviously can't.
Yeah,
And then he falls down.
yeah. The Prospector was a nasty character in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah,
I
with the
didn't
shiny.
He had a bitterness to him. He had a chip on his shoulder, and I didn't like it.
Jesse's one of those
She
animated
was
characters
sexy, yeah.
that you really don't. You feel a bit conflicted about. You're like, she's hot,
She's a child.
but
No, but a hot
she's
cartoon,
hot cowgirl.
doll, cartoon, hot doll child.
She's
is.
not a child.
Well,
Is
she's
she?
certainly not a woman. I wouldn't have
She's
said.
a doll of an adult.
She was kind of like a cartoon version of fucking King-Chug-Mike or Queen-Chug-Mike. She would have knocked. She would have stuck the ends. Oh, by the way, back to that. So, myself and your one, then Queen-Chug-Mike go off to.
You were belugas. That's how we got there. Belugas.
We're Belugas. So we're at the next. We're at the next bar, and we're there. And at this stage, anyway, we end up, we end up kissing, right? We kissed anyway, and it was wildly romantic.
Just big, like what?
Yeah.
Tumble dryer tongues.
Yeah, but then as soon as we kissed, then now a kind of a nastiness came over her because I felt she's a very beautiful girl and she's a lovely girl, but I think she was like, he doesn't deserve a kiss from me, so I need to balance the scores. So
she was frustrated with herself for kissing on the first date.
I don't even know if that was it, but like there's just a thing with some hot girls is like, well, okay, I'm going to give you this, but nothing. You can't get. It's almost like
there's the kiss, and then they almost have to shut it down to be like, we're not fucking.
Kind of, but not even that. It's like I need to balance the scores in some way because I've just given you something there because like it's a treat to have kissed me kind of thing. This is me doing a psychological evaluation. So then the next drink I go to take of my Guinness, she taps the glass right
into
as
your
it goes.
teeth?
No. Like so before, and just like Guinness goes like all over my leg, like but like really wet me, and I goes, what the fuck? And I'm like drunk now, and she's just laughing. And like in my kind of drunken stupid head, I was like, girl, Queen-Chug-Mike is evil. You know? She's an evil. She's been evil this whole time. And she got me to...
Ice Queen-Chug-Mike.
Yes! Ice Queen-Chug-Mike! Yes! Absolutely. She's Ice Queen-Chug-Mike. And she's done me in. And it all kind of, I was like, oh no. And then, so and she was just laughing. And in my head... like I was like, oh, that's because she had kissed me and now she wants to like kind of show like me a little disrespect, but I hate being disrespected. Not that there's anyone who does, like I love it, but so I goes but I got like really like defensive. I goes, what the fuck's that about? And she's just I'm just joking around or whatever. I was like, what? I goes, if you do that again, I'm leaving. If you do that again, I'm leaving. And I was like, ugh. You know, and then she, oh, come on. I was like, no. And I was just in this little, like, you know.
You had a tantrum.
Oh, I had a little tantrum. And, like, I was just covered in Guinness and I was just sitting there, like, way drunker than I wanted to be. I was like, if you do that again, I'm going. I'm not talking to you anymore. That wasn't nice that you did that. I did have a little childish kind of like, what the hell? You don't do that to me.
That was a nasty thing to do.
It was a nasty thing to do. And then... Anyway, and it wouldn't be the last tantrum I had. So, anyway, so then we go on. I don't know what she did. Like, she just, like, kissed me on the cheek. And I was like, oh, she loves me again. And, do you know what I mean? Absolutely. So easy. By the way, in any form of life, if anyone has ever wronged me, it's so easy to win me back around. It's unbelievable. Like, my grudges are so weakly held. Like, if someone was a dick to me and I'm like, that guy's a dickhead, and then they're nice to me once, I'm like, they're the nicest guy. I've no way to hold.
I forget. I have a bad memory for grudges.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I hate that person. They really fucked me over. And next time I see them, I'm like, oh, hey man, how's it going? And then I'm like, oh fuck. But then you can't.
Yeah.
You can't go from the moment that would have caused a grudge into a grudge and then out of a grudge and then back in, because that's too confusing for them. I wouldn't want to put them through that. So
you're an empath.
I'm just out. Just as soon as I have that accidental nice friendly moment with them, I'm like, well, I guess we're friends now again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so easy in that regard. Like, it's just like, I'm like a dog. If you hit me, I'm like, but then if you just go, all right, you know, I'm in. I'm back in. Anyway, then I'm kind of back in and we go for a few more. We have a few more pints and we're getting drunk. Then she's like, yeah. Then she says, she's like, do you want to come back to my apartment, right? And I was just like, I'll probably live there from now on, you know. I'd imagine. We'll decorate together, but so
it would be very economically beneficial to our kingdoms.
That's right.
Queen amalgamate.
I want to just say that bike is used because it rhymes with Mike.
It's just a rhyme.
It rhymes with Mike.
It's just a rhyme. And also when I said the one beginning with D earlier, that was also just because it rhymed. I didn't think properly.
That's right. We're philanthropic feminists, and
gay.
I think women should be allowed to
and we're gay.
Eat soup. And we're gay. And don't forget we're gay and he's autistic and I'm probably something that is worse. But I am
Never
almost.
forget that. I might be autistic.
I am
which we'll talk about on the Patreon, but we'll finish up this story first.
But so anyway, so then she's like, let's go. Like, I was like, all right, let's go. So then we're out and we're like, I was like, how do we like get to your place and blah blah. And we're just on the street and it's cold now and we're drunk. And she's just like, why do you want to come to my place? It's like, well, you just said to come to your place. And she's like, you want to go? I was like, yeah, what? And I was like, what's the address? And she's like, well, just doing this whole thing. And I was like, well, just get it, like order an Uber. Like, I'll give you money for an Uber. And she's just like, yeah, just doing this whole thing. And I was like, what? Then I was like, well, I'll go home then. I don't have to like do this. She's like, no. So it went like this, like went on. And then she was like, well, then maybe I'll go home without you. I was like, yeah, well, go on then. So then she goes down the road, but then I didn't follow her. So she just comes back. It was this whole parade. Rigmarole. And then I goes, look, it's cold, like we're drunk, like blah blah blah, and I goes, look, just type in your address to Google Maps there. If there's a bus we can get, we'll get a bus, like blah blah blah. And then she hands me back the phone, and she's just written a load of gobbledygook, and I look at her and she just starts laughing, and I just stormed off. I stormed off, like in the biggest sulk. I just went. Fine then! And I just absolutely bet off. Big fucking fat Guinness head on me.
Isn't it so funny that, like,
major suck.
Even amongst adult situations, we're all children.
Oh yeah.
We're all like, you're not gonna fuck me? Okay then.
Yeah.
You stomp off to your room.
I stomped off to the fucking red line, Bethnal Green red line. Like an absolute, like the Mad March here I was, and I muttered to myself the whole way, oh, you won't tell me, you won't think you can make fool of me, you won't do that. And I just absolutely, and then I was just like on the like train home, just chewing on a wasp the whole way. She, you know, just barking at people. Then went home, put a black plastic bag over my head, and did the old dance again. It was me. There was no girl. It was me with the black plastic bag.
I was the bulldog.
It's like Fight Club. But,
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
haven't seen that either.
Fight Club.
No. I know he's imaginary though, which is sad.
Yeah. He is imaginary. Yeah. What we're going to do after today in this Dead Series, we're going to write a list of films that you have seen.
That I have seen.
Well, it's just the Harry Potters and the Toy Stories.
I went to see Tar this week.
Yes, and then you go watch. Like, you don't watch Tar till you've seen Fight Club, Gladiator, like Forrest Gump.
I haven't seen all the normal
Shawshank
ones.
Redemption.
I've seen Forrest Gump. I've seen Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. In the Name of the Father, the ones about your own culture. Listen,
I've watched very few mob movies and very few like troublesy Irish movies.
why the hell?
I don't know. I've just never I haven't seen Hunger. Haven't seen
Hunger's good.
Belfast.
They shit
haven't seen
themselves
any
and
of
they
those.
die. It's fun. No, but it is. We've
We've
to
done
go,
an hour.
We need to go to the. We've more stuff on the
I have to
Patreon.
tell you about. I went to a big swanky industry party because I signed with my agent this week.
Did you?
So and it's straight. I hate that. I hate all that stuff.
And we'll talk about that. We'll slate them on the Patreon where they can't get that because
They can't get it because they can't afford the £3.
Lovely. We're going to switch to Patreon. Thanks for listening. Love you. And yeah.
Take care. Patreon.com/parenting.
There we go. Bye.
That's how you get that. Goodbye.
That's good.